Hello everyone and welcome to Blender Animation Tutorials. In this tutorial series we explain the essential Blender concepts and tasks that you need to know in order to create complex simulations and animations. In this particular tutorial we explain how to model a domino effect in Blender by using rigid body simulations. Here's the plan. First, we will create a series of objects or dominoes that are placed along the curved path. We will assign a rigid body physics to every object. Then we will slightly rotate the first object such that it falls down due to the gravity field. The movement of the first object will initiate a domino effect and all other objects will sequentially fall. Then we will explain how to move the camera such that the camera moves together with the object that is currently falling. Finally, we will explain how to render the animation. Here is the rendered file. Let's open it. Looks very nice. By the end of this video tutorial, you will learn how to render this file such that you can include it in your presentation. But before I start with explanations, I need to mention the following. It took me a significant amount of time, energy and planning to create this completely free video tutorial, as well as more than 350 free video tutorials that you can find on my YouTube channel. Consequently, I kindly ask you to press the like and subscribe buttons. Also, if you have some questions or a comment about the material presented in this lecture, please feel free to ask your question in the comment section below. Thanks a lot. Okay, let's start. Click on File, click on New and click on General. This is an empty Blender workspace. First, I will have to make a few adjustments such that you can see the keyboard and mouse buttons that I'm pressing. This will help you to more easily reproduce this example on your computer. I will run a plugin which tracks the button being pressed. You don't need to do this step since most likely you don't have the plugin. I will click over here to activate the plugin. Now, if I press the left mouse button, you will see it over here, middle mouse button, right mouse button. For example, if I press a key on my keyboard, for example L, you will see it over here. Since some of you might not be familiar with Blender, I need to explain a few important things. First of all, you can select objects by using the left mouse click. Then you can translate or pan slide a view by pressing Shift and by holding the middle mouse button. Press Shift and press the middle mouse button and move the mouse to slide a view. You can rotate the view by holding the middle mouse button and by moving the mouse. Hold the middle mouse button and move the mouse. Finally, you can zoom in or zoom out the view by pressing Ctrl and middle mouse button and moving the mouse. Or if you have a mouse with a rolling middle mouse button, you can use the rolling button, that is, roll the middle button to zoom in or zoom out. First, let's erase this default cube. And let's add a new cube. Here it is. This is our original object. We will define the physics of this object and then we will copy this object along a path. But first we need to change the dimensions of this object. To change the dimensions, click over here, select the object, and let's scale X. For example, X can be 0.15, Y can be, for example, 0.5, and let's leave Z as it is. Let's offset this object such that it sits on the plane Z is equal to 0. To do that, we will simply change this delta transform and we will specify here 1. Here it is. Now let us make this object to be more visually interesting by changing its colors. To do that, click over here on Material Properties, click on New, and over here click. Select Checker Texture. To see the checkered pattern, click over here. Here it is. Let's change the colors. I like the combination of two colors. The first one is the red one, and the second one is the yellow one. Here it is. Next, let's assign physics to this object. To do that, click on over here, Physics Properties, and click on Rigid Body, and leave it as it is. Expand this timeline part of the screen and press space, and you see what will happen right now. The object is falling due to the physics, and the physics is the rigid body, and we have the gravity field. Consequently, the object falls down due to the gravity. Later on, we will introduce a plane that will constrain this object and that will prevent it from falling down. Next, let's define the path. To define the path, click on View, and over here under Viewpoint, select Top. You can also press 7 on your numpad. Okay, here it is. Now, click over here on Add, click on Curve, and click on Path. And over here you can see the path, this orange line. Select the path, then go into the Edit mode, and over here we will define the path. To define the path, we will use Extrude. Over here you have several options. Extrude is the option that we want. You can extrude by simply pressing also E. So select the node, for example this one, and press E. And here it is. This is how we can extrude. Okay, let's zoom out and let's continue with the process. And look what I did right now. I rotated. Be careful. I don't want to do that. Again, click on View, click on Viewpoint, and make sure that you're always looking from bottom. Okay, or from top. We can also select the top. Okay, let's continue. Again, select the node, E, and continue. E, continue. E, continue. Let's make the path to be more interesting. For example, somehow like this. Note that every time I'm pressing E, 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 and you can continue. You can make a spiral, for example. Spiral is a very nice shape. Okay, here it is. Next, let's check the direction of this path. To check the direction of the path, click over here and select this option, Normals. And you can see the direction. So the direction is reversed. We want the path actually to start from here. To change the direction, click on Segment and click on Switch Direction. Perfect. Now the direction looks good. Since we will copy the objects along this path, it's very important that the direction is set properly. Perfect. Now you can rotate the view and you can see the complete path. The next step is to copy this object along this path. To do that, go back to the object mode, then select this object, expand this menu, and over here you need to click on modifier properties. Then you need to click on add modifier and you need to click array. Okay, now look what will happen now. Let's change this factor x. If you see now what happens, I'm simply copying this object along the x-axis, that is along this axis. And here's the first copy. Let's change the number of copies. For example, let's introduce 50. Okay. Next, we need to set the copying path. That is, we want to copy these objects along our curved path. To do that, again, click on the modifier and over here click on curve. Here's the curve menu. Now, use this eyedropper and select the path and magic happens. Perfect. Now over here you can change the count number. For example, we can set this to be 200, even larger number, for example 250, and here it is. Of course, over here you can change the offset. For example, we can decrease the offset somehow like this. Perfect. Next, click over here and click on apply, then click over here and click on apply. Okay, perfect. Here it is. Next, let's define our plane. To define the plane, make sure that you're in the object mode, click on add, click on mesh, and click on plane. And here's the plane. Now, let us scale this plane. Click over here and let's scale the plane. Here you have to be very careful what you're selecting. And let's scale. Okay, we probably need to scale more. Okay, here it is. Perfect. Now, let's run the simulation. We run the simulation by simply pressing space. And let's see the outcome. Okay, still not good. This means that we need to constrain the plane. To constrain the plane, let us simply select the plane, then click over here on Physics Properties, click on the rigid body, and over here, let's change this parameter. Let's set the plane to be passive. And now let's run the simulations. Okay, perfect. Right now, this array of objects acts as a single object. However, we need to split it such that we can run the simulation. To split these objects, go back to Edit mode and make sure over here that you selected Cube. This is very important. Next, go and click on Mesh, and over here click on Separate by Loose Parts. And here it is. Now you will see that we have all the objects over here, 250 of them. Perfect. Now let's go back to the object mode and let's press space to run the simulation. And we can see another problem over here. We need to fix this problem. To fix this problem, first stop the simulation, then make sure that all the objects are selected. The easiest way to do that is to click over here and to press A, and then over here under Object, set Origin, and specify this option, that is, click over here, Origin to Center of Mass. Okay, perfect. Now go back and run the simulation again. And nothing happens, and this is what we want. To create the domino effect, first select the first domino, then rotate this domino by simply pressing R, and let's rotate this domino around the y-axis. So press Y, and let's specify the angle. Or you can just move your mouse cursor to specify the angle. Okay, let's see the outcome. This is the first frame, and let's press space. And here it is. We just created the domino effect. Beautiful. And you can clearly see what happens. Now, we need to fix two things. First of all, the simulation ends at 250 frames. We need to adjust that, and we need to speed up the simulation. To do that, click over here, expand this menu, Rigid Body World, and first of all, let us set the speed. For example, let us select 3, and let's run the simulation again, and let's see what happens. Right now, the simulation runs much faster. However, we need to adjust the last frame. To do that, click over here, and let's select, for example, 500 frames. And over here, let's select 500. That is, let's change this number to 500. Let's run the simulation again, and let's see the outcome. Okay. Maybe we need to decrease. Maybe 500 is not the best number, but however, let's see. Okay. Okay, so let's stop the simulation around the frame 380. Over here, I will adjust 380, and over here, I will set 380. Perfect. Let's run again, and let's see the outcome. Perfect. Okay, looks good, looks good, looks good. Let's see the end. Perfect. Next, we want to adjust the camera. That is, I want my camera, that is this object, to move and to follow the domino effect. To do that, first of all, you can click over here to see the current camera view. Here it is. Now, over here you can click on view and you can select this option camera to view. Okay, now if we navigate the camera, this will be our view. Perfect. Okay, so let's see the beginning of the simulation. Here it is. Close this menu, decrease this size, and close this. Now, you see this button over here. This button is very important. If I press this button, I will actually record this frame. This is very important setting. Make sure that you selected the camera when you're doing this. So if I press now this button, this will be, and if I move it a little bit, you will see over here the frame over here. That is, this is our first frame. We start from here. Now if you press space, you can see what happens. So we can keep the camera over here until this moment. Okay, so to record this moment, you just need to slightly move the camera. And here it is. This is the second frame. So let's run the simulation. So running until here. And from here we need to change the camera view. To adjust the camera view, click again over here such that we are not recording when we move the camera. Then run the simulation for some time, let's say until over here, or move the frames a little bit backward. Then move the camera to the position, for example over here. Then again press this button and just slightly move the camera to record that frame. Then again click over here such that we are not recording, and let's see the effect. Okay, first, second, perfect. Again, let's repeat this procedure by rotating the camera, deselect this frame over here. Then let's move the camera a little bit. For example, let's rotate it like this. Actually, we need to move a little bit in the backward. Okay. Again, press this button, move the camera a little bit to record that frame, press again, and let's see the effect. Okay, now the camera is moving. We are tracking. Perfect. By repeating this procedure, I finally obtained this animation. Let's watch it. Here it is. Now the camera starts moving. It follows until the end. Perfect. Let's click over here, and this is how this animation will look when we render it. Obviously there is one error over here. You don't see the colors. And of course we need to change the color of the plane. Stop the animation, click over here, and let's add light. To add a light, click over here, click on light, and let's select point. So where is our light object? It's actually centered over here. Let's move it. Okay, here it is. Let's move it out of the plane, for example over here. Later on we will adjust it, and let's click over here. Let's select the power. For example, let's select 25,000 watts. Okay, let's see now what will happen. Perfect, much better light. Let's increase this number, for example, to 50,000, and let's see what will happen. Okay, Let's now run the simulation. Let's see. Go back to the first frame. Okay, looks much better. Let's see the camera. And let's see what will happen. Perfect. Much better. However, let's change the location of light. Again, click over here. And let's put light over here. Now let's go back and let's see the camera. Let's run everything to see what will happen now. Perfect. Another thing that we can do, we can actually move the light behind the camera. So let's stop over here. Let's get out of the camera view, and you can see that the camera is actually located over here. So let's move the light, for example, over here, and this is still not behind the camera. Let's see, where is the light now? Light is over here. You should be very careful, so you need to zoom out everything, and let's see what will happen if, for example, light is somehow behind the camera. For example, from here. Let's see what happens. Then click on camera. Let's see. Is it better? Might be better. We just need to adjust the power of light. Okay, let's do that. Let's select, for example, 100, 1000, and let's run everything again. Okay, let's adjust the light a little bit more. Click over here. Let's see, where is our light? Object. Oh, this is not what we wanted to do. We have to be very careful what we are doing. Here's our light. And let's see. Maybe still the best option is to keep the light somehow on top. That might be the best solution. Let's see again what will happen. Yes, this might be the best solution. However, we create one error over here. And the error is that we moved one of the dominoes over here, we displaced it, and you see what happened. Okay, so let's fix that. To fix that, click over here, and let's press Ctrl Z several times, and here it is. Okay, let's now go back to the camera view, and let's run the simulation. Let's see what happens. Okay, here it is. Perfect. Let's now adjust the light once more. Stop the simulation. Go over here, find light. And let's place the light, for example, on top of this scene. For example, over here. Perfect. Then we can also increase, for example, 120, and that's it. Run the simulation once more from the camera view, and let's see the output. Perfect. Now, let's change the color of the plane. To do that, click over here, select the plane, then over here, click over here, and let's select the color. For example, let's use color that's a little bit magenta or purple, light purple, and that's it. Let's see the output. Good. Maybe we can adjust the light a little bit. So again, get out of the camera view, and let's adjust the light. So where is the light? Here it is. And let's select, for example, 90,000. Okay, perfect. Maybe we can move it a little bit up. Click over here, and then you just can move it. Okay, that's it. Next, let's render this animation. To render this animation, you need to click over here. To render the animation, we will actually render the animation by generating a series of PNG files, and later on we will glue all these PNG files together. That is, for every frame we will generate a single PNG file. So over here, make sure that you select PNG and let's select the output folder. In my case, the output folder is this temporary folder and click on accept. Here you can also specify the name of the image. For example, let's call image, and then later on Blender will add numbers over here. You will see that in a second. And let's see these options. You don't need to change anything over here. To render the images, click on render and click on render animation. And here it is. Now the animation will be rendered one frame at a time. Since we have 300 frames, over here we need to wait for 300. Okay, here's the last frame and let's see the output. You can safely close the render portion and let's see the output. Here's the first frame, perfect, and here's the frame 380. Here it is. The next step is to glue everything together. To do that, you need to find this plus sign over here and you need to click on video editing, then on video editing. Over here, you need to click on sequencer, then you can click here add, click on image sequence, then find the original folder, and here are all the images. Click over here, press A, and click on add image strip. Here they are. Now just move them over here. Perfect. Next, let's adjust the name and the file format. Click over here, select frame rate, for example 300. Let's specify the output folder. This is the output folder, and let's call the file final video. I will call it 3. Click on accept. Over here, we will specify the file format and we will render a movie. Consequently, I will select this option. Then, let's play with the encoder. I will use this option. Over here, I will select the quality lossless. Perfect. And we are all set. Then again, find the render menu, click on render, and click on render animation. And again, this rendering window will pop up. However, right now, we will produce an output file. Perfect. This is our animation. And finally, let's look. And finally, let's play the final rendered file. Here it is. And as you can see over here, I'm using VLC Media Player. And here it is. Looks very nice. Perfect. Okay, that would be all for today. I hope that you liked this video. If you like the videos I'm creating, please press the like and subscribe buttons. Thanks a lot and have a nice day.